Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Affordable Holidays. Now this is a bit of a funny old video because we are now cutting up to the approaching the first year that we've actually been on YouTube, and I would just like to start off by saying a massive thank you for everyone that's took the time to watch the videos, to put a like on the videos, and to subscribe. More importantly, to subscribe to the videos. It's great that you do that. I'm not sure if people are aware who watch YouTube just what the criteria is to get paid from YouTube for putting videos on. Basically, they have a criteria. You've got to have 4,000 watchable hours of content, and you've got to have 1,000 subscribers. And when we set out to start this, just merely as a bit of a hobby, we never expected this to go anywhere near that. We're not monetized yet. We're on our way, and we're hoping that maybe in the next 2 or 3 months that will happen. Unfortunately, when our time comes, which is at the end of this month, we lose the first 4,000 hours of watched content that we had, so we're going to start that again. But to be fair, in this 11th odd month period, we've had 16,500 watched hours, so I don't expect that to take too long to get back. And we're currently on 740 odd subscribers, so we're a couple of hundred short of getting monetized. So hopefully people watch this, and if you like what we do, it's quite important that you do subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing, as we keep putting on all our videos, and hopefully we'll be monetized, which, to be honest, it won't pay big money, but it might just help us out with some of the content that we do. I'm going to run through some of the stuff that we've done this year, so stick with us, don't get bored. Make yourself a cup of tea if you want, put me on pause and come back when you're ready. In this 11 and a half months that we've been doing this, we've done 7 countries so far. One country we went to twice, which was Fuerteventura and the Canaries. We went there twice in the year period, but we've been to start off in sunny beach in Bulgaria, which is where our first video went on of Nesibar, followed by a trip to Egypt, and we went to Gdansk in Poland, 2 times to Fuerteventura in Spain, Tunisia in Sousse. We went to Tunisia and went to Sousse in Tunisia. We went to Fethiye in Turkey, and we've been to Holland. We spent 3 or 4 days in Holland filming over there as well. I mean, that's apart from all the stuff we've done back here. Now, you may have noticed we've not really done much in the last few weeks, and that's because we are called Affordable Holidays, and I really refuse from the heart of my bottom to spend over the odds in the 6-week period that the kids are off school to go on holiday. Now, I sympathise totally with all the parents who have children that they have to wait to the summer holidays to take them away, which cost astronomical figures. And if I ever made it into power, one of the first things that I would change would be to make sure that that doesn't happen, because I think travel, as we're trying to bring to you, is so important. It's such a learning curve in anyone's life, and I've been travelling ever since I was 5 or 6 years old. In fact, I actually grew up for the first 2 or 3 years in Germany when I was a child, so I'm used to being on the road. I'm used to travelling, and I think it's such a learning curve. You learn so much from foreign travel. Stuff they can't teach you in schools, it's just in a book, whereas you go there and you see the real life experience of it. We do try and take our grandchildren away, as we took our children away over the years, but I know how expensive and how much it costs, so we limit that more or less to just me and Mrs. M, which obviously brings the cost down. But that's the reason why we haven't done much in the last 6 weeks. But don't panic, we are back on the road again quite soon. We have got a couple of trips lined up. We are going to Calador in Mallorca at the end of this month, and we're going to be there for a few days filming over there. And next month we are going to be off to Serbia. We're going to go to Belgrade. We're there for a couple of days, and then obviously we will probably be heading to plan something towards Christmas for the Christmas markets. So stick with us, there's more to come. We've been doing days outs, and we've been doing resorts locally to where we live to sort of tide us over, but I'm itching to get back on the plane again and start travelling. So yeah, it's all coming up in the future, so don't worry. Well, in the time we've been doing this, my favourite video, or I would say my favourite 2 videos, had to be the ones that we did in the Netherlands. We went to Scheveningen on the first day, and we went to Zaandam and did the filming there. They didn't do very well, to be honest. I'm not shocked. I blame myself for my filming, and the weather was atrocious. But I'm quite saddened, because I really want them to do. I really wanted to showcase Holland. I have spent time over there many years ago and loved the place, and it's such a contrast to the UK. I was just hoping for better, but as I said, the weather let us down, and my video making isn't the greatest, which I'll come on to in a little while. But yeah, that's a shame. But the biggest selling, or the biggest viewed video, I should say, this year has been the one at Butlins, which seemed to go down a storm. And when I compare it to other videos on Butlins, in the short space of time that it's been out, I think it's sitting about 86,000, something like that, 86,000 views, which is incredible. We never expected that, to be honest, but brilliant. So, but it's never easy to predict to anyone just what video is going to be successful and what isn't. Some of the ones that I thought this is a gem, this is going to do well, have bombed. And like the one at Butlins, I didn't think was particularly brilliant, but it's done extremely well. So it could be more towards the content of what the video is about rather than the actual filming and the commentary, which I will come on to in a minute about the commentary. So maybe it's about the location rather is more important than what you're actually saying. Anyway, coming on to the commentary. Now, we've only started really doing talking videos and being in the videos, I think 4 months ago. I was talking to a great friend of mine. He's been in my Norwich video. I call him Man About Town Dave, even though he lives in a city. And he's a part-time actor, and he's well used to being in front of the camera. And I sent him a couple of my videos and said, what do you think? And he said, Andy, they're good videos, but you're not in them. I then said back to him, look, Dave, I'm overweight. I'm no Brad Pitt, more like a cesspit. I don't really want to be in them for that reason. He said, look, people don't personalise to your videos unless you're actually in them. So I went over to Norwich for the day, which is on our collection, and it was the very first time I'd actually put my face on the camera. If you look at anything previous to that, it's normally sort of music over, or it's just crowds and that, and without my face. I'm still very nervous about doing it, I'll be honest. I'm getting better, which is why I'm hoping in the future that if you stick with the channel, things will improve. I mean, I originally, when I set out, I said to Mrs. M, look, I'm going to start off just by filming stuff so I can get the hang of editing. I've never edited anything in my entire life. So I thought if I get the basics of editing and putting music on and cutting things together and stuff like that, and then I'll work my way up through like a sort of mini apprenticeship for myself, to the point where hopefully 2 or 3 years down the road, I can put my face on it. But I was kind of pushed into it a bit quicker than that, because my mate said, look, you're not going to, he said, your videos are great, but you're not going to personalise with people unless you put yourself on it. So I think the first one I did was I went round Yarmouth for the day, took the camera with me, and I started up the quiet end of Yarmouth and worked my way down. And it's surprising, actually, that by the time I got to Regent Road, which is the main sort of shopping, touristy part of Yarmouth for the shops, I'd actually picked up quite a bit of confidence. So I actually spoke to my mate Dave a couple of days ago, and I said, look, Dave, if in a few weeks' time we'll do another one together and we'll go somewhere for the day. And I said, to be honest, I think it'd be much better than the one we did in Norwich, because I'm a bit more aware now of the camera, and not so shy to be in front of it. People don't really understand that when you're walking around the streets with a camera, you are so noticeable. I try and be discreet, especially if I'm in a restaurant or something like that, because I don't like people to think they're being filmed without their knowledge. And to be honest, I've not actually had any confrontation. No one's actually said, oi, mate, take that camera away. I don't like you filming in front of me. And on the other hand, I've had some people wave, or they put the faces to the camera as you've gone past. I think one in Liverpool, there was a girl there, she ran straight up to me and said something, I can't remember now, in front of the camera. So some people like it and some people don't. It's a very hard one to judge. I do try not to film people directly in their face for any period of time. If they're walking towards me, I can't help that. But if there's kids and stuff like that, then I avoid that as much as possible, because you don't want to upset anyone. So I tend to avoid that. But that makes filming a bit more difficult, especially when we're going to a holiday resort or something like that. So I try and film early morning. So if you see some of the videos, I go, well, there's no one there. It actually is a very busy resort. But I try to get there up early before anybody else does, so you can still see what the resort has to offer. And then I kind of stealth film during the day of the bars and stuff like that, to try and fill the content out so you can see there's people there. But I do try and film early or late in the evening, so to stop most of the crowds being there, so I can get round things and not feel intimidated by putting cameras in people's faces. So that's the reason why. Anyway, since that has happened, I think I said that was 4 months ago, I think we had 80 subscribers. And since then, we have now got to say to 700, just under 750, which I'm totally amazed at, and that's in 4 months. Now, bearing in mind, to get monetized, we should have done this by now. We should have reached the 1,000 mark, so that's not going to happen probably this time round, which is a learning. But I maybe have stuck my neck out a little bit sooner, we could have been monetized by now. So that will always haunt me a little bit, but not to worry. Life goes on. We'll sort something out, and we'll carry on. But I was very anti putting myself on it for various reasons. Now, I did go onto YouTube a lot and watch a lot of other content from other video makers, and to be fair, not all of them are Brad Pitt. In fact, very rarely do you find a Brad Pitt. I find that some of the American couples that there's Nate and Cara, and they're a classic example where they're both kind of good-looking couple, you know, and they tend to be in their swimming costumes a lot, and they get masses and masses of views. They are very good, though. I mean, I'll be honest, they do some wicked videos, and they're not short videos either, but I think the beauty element does sell it a little bit. So that's part of the reasons I said I was a bit apprehensive. But to be honest, I've seen a lot of videos since then of other content makers, and like I said, they're not all Brad Pitts. So you know, if you are thinking about stepping out and doing this, bear that in mind. It's not all about looking good. It's all about the content and you know, what you approach and what sort of videos you make. And I found some not so good looking people that are extremely funny and like me, hopefully, are very good in what they do. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the editing side of things as well. I mean, people may not be aware. I subscribe to two companies. One is Epidemic Sound, for which I use the music on there because it's not copywritten, so I can put. And some of the ones that do free music, the music's crap, and you know, in my opinion, it's crap. And so I prefer, because with Epidemic Sound you can choose what sort of mood you want, what sort of style of music you want, and you've got sound effects and everything you need basically. So I subscribe to that every month, which I think is about 10 quid. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to get things into your video. Ultimately, good camera work and funny content that's interesting is what sells a video. But having the right kind of music and the right kind of theme can help as well, which I like to think that I've done in some of the videos, which I haven't talked too much in. And the other thing that I subscribe to is CapCut, which is my editing suite, which, to be honest, I've got 2 subscriptions to them, which I'm a bit peed off about because I shouldn't have one of them, and I tried to get rid of it, and it's becoming a bit of a nightmare. But so I technically should only have 1 subscription, but I have 2, so it costs me double. But I am working on that to get myself off it. But anyway, that's what I use. So making the videos isn't free. Then you have to allow for the fact of where you're going and what you're filming. The most expensive video to make in our list was Egypt. That was the most expensive week we spent anywhere, and I was a bit disappointed on that score, because out of all the hotels that we filmed in the year, that was probably the most poorest, and it was the most expensive. And I had a load of comments from people afterwards who'd paid an awful lot less than what we done, and I shopped around. It was just strange that we got sort of not stung, but that was the week that we wanted. It cost a lot of money. So I don't know the reason why, but anyway, my big complaint about the hotel was the state of it. The food wasn't very nice, the drinks were horrible, and there was limitations on things like the internet and stuff like that. But the condition of the rooms was my main concern. And I always think that if things are like that, what's the fire safety like? What's other things like? You know what I mean? And it does play on your mind a little bit. But chiefly, though, I was angry because how much I paid for it, which I think I can't remember offhand how much it was, but it wasn't cheap in comparison to some of the places that we go to. But the places that we go to tend to be in a lot better condition to that. So I think it's related to how much you pay, not the actual. So if I'd have paid half or a third of what I actually paid, I'd have got there thinking, well, you know, that ain't brilliant, but I'll put up with it for a week. But because we paid an awful lot of money, we kind of felt like we was a bit ripped off. And when we sort of see it to some of the other places we've been to in the year. Sunny Beach was nice. That wasn't the greatest hotel in the world, but it was 4-star and deservedly so. It was good enough. And we've been to Fethiye, in Turkey, was a 5-star hotel, and deservedly enough, it was a great hotel. And that holiday cost us less than what the Egyptian one did. So that was my gripe about the Egypt holiday, and that was also my first time in Egypt. Now, coming on to that, one of the things that I criticise about myself when I do these videos is I'm not really critical enough. When I see some of the other YouTubers who have a meal in a restaurant and it's not very good, or they'll go to a hotel and it's not very good, and they really slate it, and they slate it on the videos quite badly. And it's one thing that I'm going to probably improve on next year, because like the Egyptian one in particular, I did show the room, but I didn't really slate it as such. And there's a video that went alongside the hotel where we went to Hurghada, to the aquarium for the day. Now, we plainly got ripped off when we paid in Egyptian pounds, and I didn't realise until after we'd been around the aquarium. We came back, waited for our taxi, and I said to my wife, hang on a minute, I just worked out how much we paid. And when I went to the kiosk, he said, well, no, if you'd have paid American dollars, it would have been... And I went, no, oh, come on. And I had to sort of argue with him for about 20 minutes. He wasn't going to budge. So I turned around to him and said, look, I have my camera here. I'm going to film this for YouTube, and we'll see what the public thinks. And as soon as I said that, he chomped the price down. Now, I never went in, when I did the video, if you watched the video, I never actually mentioned it. I just said you're best to pay in dollars. And that's been one of my own problems. I haven't really slated people. I don't like to do that, to be honest. We had a fish and chips in Southend, if you see one of the Southend video, and I did moan about it, but only very gently, lightly. I didn't actually film outside the restaurant. I didn't put the name of it up, because it's someone's business, and it wasn't great, and I would never go back. But some of the YouTubers, they do it, and I don't know, but I am going to get stricter with what I do. I am going to point out some of these faults a bit more in the future, because I think they are worth coming to. Also, on that score, one of my pet hates is clickbait. I hate it. When I go onto some people's videos and they've got a picture of them going like that, and they say, I was terrorized, and then you watch the video and it's nothing. It's that, you know, they might have had someone say something to them, which is something really minuscule and minute, and that the caption is to get people to watch the video. The caption is like, oh, I was terrorized. And to be honest with you, I watch an awful lot of YouTube because I catch up to see what everyone's doing, and obviously it gives me inspiration and it gives me some ideas. But when I see things, I tend to flick past them, because I know that it's going to be a lot of old rubbish. And you know, I'm not going to name any names of people that I've seen this to, but believe you me, I'm now wisening up to it, and I'm just clicking past the video, because I'm just thinking, I know this is going to be a lot of tosh, but they're trying to sell a video. Now, if you look at my videos, there's been occasionally where I've said a few things, but nothing major. And what I've said, if I said I was amazed, I have been amazed, and I said it in the video. But I wouldn't put down there, this was the disaster of the world, and then get on there and I had 3Ps missing off the plate. So that's another thing. Clickbait really gets on my nerves, but I know it sells videos, and it's part of the route that I don't really want to go down, which is maybe the reason why my videos don't get so much of a viewing, apart from the fact they're maybe a little bit crappier than everybody else's, but I'll go into that. I'll live with that. But I think personally it's because I don't make the clickbaiting part of what I do, rightly or wrongly. But you know, if I do have a bad experience, I will put it in the video, and I might put something at the start of the video, or I might just put 1 or 2 words on the thumbnail at the start. But I'm not going to sit there and say this was the worst experience of my life, and then you go through the video and you think, what's he on about? And you go, oh well, his shoe fell off and landed in the swimming pool, and that was it. And then you'd be thinking, well, I'm going to subscribe to him because he's full of rubbish. So that's part of the reason why I like it, or that's the way I do it anyway. So some of the mistakes that I think that I've made over the course of this year would be I should have put myself on it a bit sooner, I'll be honest. It is a learning curve, and this to me is hopefully, if we get some monetization eventually, is going to be a little bit of extra money to fund. We've always gone on holiday. We've been called the Judith Chamblers of our area, because we're always away, and that's, as I said, it's something that's been installed in me ever since I was a kid, and I'm not going to stop now unless anything health-wise prevents me from getting on a plane. That's what I'm going to do. So last year, basically, I just said to him, I said, we'll film this and we'll just have a bit of a laugh when we get back. And I went on YouTube to see whether the hotel had any other videos, which is one point that I will make to you. If you are booking anywhere, always check on YouTube first, because if you go on TripAdvisor and people write comments and stuff like that, and they may put on a couple of photographs or whatever, but that doesn't always tell the true picture. So if you go onto YouTube and watch the video of the hotel there, or the resort, or wherever you go in the country you're going to, you do get more of a true picture to watch. And that's what we always do now. We see a hotel bargain, I go, just before I bang the book it, I will go on YouTube, I'll watch half a dozen videos and see what, especially the newest ones that I can find of the place, to get an idea of what it's like. And if it's crap, I won't bother, and if it's good, then we look at it and we will book it. There's been mistakes with some of the editing as well, which I put my hand up. I'm new to it. It's I'm a professional painter and decorator. That's what I do for a living. I've been doing it for 40 years, which is probably the reason I started doing the YouTube, because I just had enough. And I couldn't expect anyone to just jump into my trade and do what I do, to any great degree. Initially, it's a learning curve. So unfortunately with YouTube, your learning curve is observed by the world, basically. On the subject of editing, people don't really quite understand just what's involved with it. It's not a quick process. I would probably say that for every hour of filming that I do, that would probably be reduced down to 20-25 minutes, depending on what the content is. Most of what you do just gets cut and ditched to try and find the strongest, best bits of what you've done. It's kind of hard for me sometimes, because if I have like Mrs. M with me, or I have the grandkids with me or something like that, it's quite hard to sort of film around them. Mrs. M's on some of my videos, as you well know, but she doesn't like to be on everything. Initially, this was something that I started really purely for myself as a hobby, but because obviously Mrs. M accompanies me everywhere I go, it's very difficult to sort of film without her being in them at some point. So, yeah, editing can be quite awkward. It's very time consuming. Like I say, 1 hour of filming probably condenses down to about 20 minutes of video. And I would say it takes me now 30 minutes per minute of film to produce to a certain standard. If you see the videos, you might think I've done it in 20 seconds, but believe you me, it's a long process. So I can probably spend on a video maybe 2 or 3 evenings playing around with it and getting it right. And I still make mistakes. We're only human. I still make mistakes. I still do things after. So I think, oh my God, it's all gone out now, and there's a spelling mistake, or this could have been done better, that could have been done better. So, but that's like I said, it's a learning curve. But unfortunately, it's a learning curve that goes out to the world, because they all see it as soon as it goes out. Anyway, which leads me further into the cost. Now, the cost of making these videos, because we do not get any financial help, it basically all comes down to me and Mrs. M funding everything for herself. So it is an expensive process. So as I said at the start of the video, because I'm going to get off this now and I've bored you enough, and I'm sure you've finished your tea and want to get back to watching your programs, don't blame you. If we can get this subscription rate up, fantastic, and then hopefully at some point YouTube will feel sorry for us, and they'll give us some kind of money towards some of the videos that we make. I think a lot of professional YouTubers don't make an awful lot. I think the top ones do, but I think the majority don't. A lot of them rely on sponsorship and things like that to sort of get by. Whereas this is more a part-time thing for me, which I'm hoping to build up, and then eventually, if it does well for itself, I'll retire from my job, which would be the best day of my life. And I will become a full-time YouTuber. So until that day happens, please, for the umpteenth billionth time, could you like and subscribe to the channel? And as I said, it costs you nothing. And one thing that we found out, since we have all our analytics and we check everything, is that probably 85% of the people that watch our videos aren't actually subscribed to the channel. And I think a lot of professional YouTubers will all say the same thing. So it's quite strange. So if you want to help us out, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. If you've made it this far and you're still alive and still awake, God bless you. Thank you very much. And we'll see you on the road very, very soon. Take care of yourselves. Cheers.